It makes me want to say, good morning, I'm feeling good today. And when I feel this way, it makes me want to say, hooray. Well, that's syncopation in this song. I'll sing a little, you sing it back. Good morning, I'm feeling good today. Good morning, I'm feeling good today. And when I feel this way, it makes me want to say, and when I feel this way, it makes me want to say, good morning, I'm feeling good today. Good morning, I'm feeling good today. And when I feel this way, it makes me want to say, hooray, ready to go. And when I feel this way, it makes me want to say, hooray. Good job. All right, I'll sing two parts. You sing it back. Good morning, I'm feeling good today. And when I feel this way, it makes me want to say, ready. Good morning, I'm feeling good today. And when I feel this way, it makes me want to say, good morning, I'm feeling good today. And when I feel this way, it makes me want to say, hooray. Ready? Good morning, I'm feeling good today. And when I feel this way, it makes me want to say, hooray. Come on out here. You leave all your stuff and there's the space. That's why I have this open space. Yeah. Oh, here. Try it with me. Ready? Good morning, I'm feeling good today. And when I feel this way, it makes me want to say, good morning, I'm feeling good today. And when I feel this way, it makes me want to say, hooray. Just watch. What did I do first? Yeah. First for the feet. 1, 2, 7. Feels like tap dancing. Try it. Here, we're ready to go. And then we're. And then 1, 7, 4. And the last part was 1, 2, 3. Just that. Just like a good finish. Try that with me. Here we go. That's what the kids do. I've done this with 3rd graders and 4th graders and 5th graders who loved it too, by the way. But they like to go and I don't know why. Okay. So it's just good morning, ready. Good morning, I'm feeling good today. And when I feel this way, it makes me want to say, good morning, I'm feeling good today. And when I feel this way, it makes me want to say, hooray. Oh yeah. Good. So the beginning, doesn't it feel strange to just stand here? So instead, I want you right now to find a place in all this space where you're just on your own and you're comfortable. So not in a circle, but just in a scattered position. So a space right out here and fill in the middle and all these different places. And what you're going to do is walk to the beat while you're singing the song. So we're going to go, good morning, I'm feeling good today. And when I feel this way, it makes me want to say, good morning. And you can nod at people as you go by. Say, and when I feel this way, it makes me want to say, hooray. Ooh, to say, hooray. And then I'll leave her, good morning. Go find someone else. Okay? Then I liked you a lot. So we'll go find someone else. All right, take a little walk. Here we go, ready? Good morning, I'm feeling good today. And when I feel this way, it makes me want to say, good morning, I'm feeling good today. And when send this to you as a PDF if you'd like it. I just thought of that on actually driving here this morning. I thought, I'm going to start with the Good Morning song. That song is by either Jeff Krisky or Randy DeLillis. I don't know which one wrote it, but you know who those people are, right? They're really, really good composer, arrangers. They use a lot with Orff instruments, but this is just a singing game that one of them wrote. I think it's Randy who wrote that one. And so much fun. I use that when we're working on syncopation with children, and it's fun to do that one. Okay, well, you're here today to learn about Orff instruments used in the church setting. And that's what we're going to do. So yesterday we used some Orff instruments. We even used a little bit the day before yesterday. But today I'm starting at the beginning. And I probably should have done these sessions on the first day, but I don't know. I had a different way of thinking about things. So today we're going to start at the beginning. And we're going to do some really simple beginning activities this morning with the Orff instruments. Then this afternoon I have 2 more sessions. We're going to do a little more intermediate that will still be appropriate for even your older choir, your older children's choir. And once you bring them along a little bit, I'm giving you some activities at the end of the day that you can use with the older children. Right now, you might even be able to do these with middle schoolers if they wanted to play, if they wanted to do some things with Orff instruments. Because Orff instruments are not for children, not just for children. I mean, there are people now, there have been several articles in the Orff Echo about people who actually teach orchestral work in nursing homes now. And do intergenerational groups so that they have the children and the parents and whoever else. Because if you've taught school, you know that on open house day, the parents head straight for the Orff instruments because they want to play them. It's a lot of fun to do that. So we're going to start at the beginning, and I'd like for you to fill up the Orff instruments. We can actually take 2 people at each instrument, so you get a chance to do that. You know what? I'm going to start, like I told you guys about, I'm going to start really at the beginning. So get into a circle for a second. And I'm going to show you how we do this when we have more children than we have instruments. I just start wherever I want, and I'll start here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now we have 10 Orff instruments. So you guys are the first 10, but hold on. Now we're going to start over on 1. Clara, you're going to be partners with Deanna. You'll be partners with Deanna in just a minute, okay? And then 2, Adrian, you'll be partners with Eric. And 3, is it Trista? Triesta, you'll be partners with Francine. And then Amy, you'll be partners with James. I thought I was going to be sure. Dessert. That's right, now. Dessert. Okay. And then Lonnie. And then Debbie, you'll be partners with Michelle. And finally, Jareen, you'll be partners with Sue. With Sue Wilson. Yeah,
The sun.
That's okay. The sun, that's right. Okay. So that's what I do. And I don't have a set place for children to stand in a circle. So it's just random, whoever's here I start with. Or sometimes if they figure that out and know, if they stand next to me, they get to go first. I'll just start in different places. I'll just go, and 1, 2, like that. All right, so here's what we do. Once you are going to go to your instrument, and after you've chosen your instrument, sit behind it with your arms crossed. Sit behind it with no mouth yet. Okay, go. Once. So the leader of the ones gets to choose the instrument. That's how it is.
You're 6, but then I think, aren't you?
You're 6,
Claire,
yes. Okay, so 2, Meredith gets to choose the instrument and go with her. When y'all get there, just stand there. Don't pick up the mouse yet. 3s, go. Francine chooses the instrument. 4s, go James. And your partner is Amy. 5s, go Michelle. I like how people are standing with their arms crossed. This is looking good. 6s. This is looking good, you guys. All right, nobody has picked up their mallets. And that's, positive reinforcement is a good thing. Okay, 7, you're the lucky guy. You can be by yourself at an instrument. 8, all alone. 9, and 10. Okay, now that didn't take too long. It didn't take too very long. And if you're not comfortable sitting on the floor, you can put it on a chair and then turn around. And we can have 2 chairs at the base. So let's just get 1 more chair so you guys have a seat. All right, good. Very, very nice. Now, I'm going to talk to you as adults for just a minute. I think we can handle it. So, would y'all get chairs and just sit for a second so everybody can see? And I want to go through what these instruments are. Good morning. No, that's okay. I want to go through what these instruments are. You know, I've kind of said it briefly in a couple of other sessions. Basically, there are 3 main families of instruments. There are the metallophones. Metallophone is spelled M-E-T-A-L, metal. And then there's this connecting L-O, because it's a double L in the metallophone. And in Latin, phone means what? Sound. It does. Phone means sound. So literally, these instruments are metal sound. That's what that means. And then we also have xylophones. Now really, most the xylophones are made of wood. And these are, it's so funny because I brought 2 from SMU that are this Calisano, which is fiberglass, and Baylor had 2 also. So you're not getting to see the actual wooden xylophones, but they're made of rosewood. And they're really pretty. I mean, they're brown, and it's a nice contrast. I like this fiberglass because it rings a little bit longer. Hear how it does ring, but not as long as a metallophone. And it doesn't dry out like the wood does sometimes. And in the summertime, when it's really hot in our schools and churches, sometimes when they actually turn off the air conditioner, it doesn't affect that. So I'm really a proponent of this. These are the xylophones. Xylo is Greek for wood, woods. And phone means sound. So these are wood sounds, wood sound. And then we have, and this is all in the notes, by the way, in today's notes, the definitions and everything. And then we have the glockenspiels. Now, glocken is German for what? Anyone? No? Bells. Right? It even makes it plural. So bells and spiel. It's actually play, I think, or it can be speak. I think, maybe, I don't know. Yeah, because you can say spielen. Yeah. So it's like bells play or bells speak. That's good. All right. And Karl Orff had these designed so that they were in the right ranges and the right size for children, so that they could play these. And his idea was to make it really accessible to children and people of all ages, so that it's not as intimidating as standing behind a big marimba with the that has the sharps and flats in it as well. They can just work on this. These instruments do come with F sharps and B flats, so we can play easily in C, good morning, or we can play in. You can't really play in D. Diatonic because we're on C sharps. But we can play in F diatonic because we have B flats. We play G because we have F sharps. So C, F, and G are the main 3 keys. And that's good because for children's voices, C sometimes is pretty easy to read. And the F gives them the option of singing low so and low la and low T. And this is just in a better singing range for kids to start in F. And same thing with G. You can do low, so, and low, la. Yes, ma'am. Question,
She was wondering about the B flat.
yes. And I think they're actually, some of them are inside the instruments and some of them are in the box behind you. Yep.
I thought you meant that it was on there already. I mean,
They come with them. Yeah, they come with them. In fact, nowadays, some of the boxes have slots so that you can put the accidentals in the slot on the side. Yep. So yeah. All right. So what are these again? Metalophones. And those are xylophones. And those are glockenspiels. Is that fun to say? Within each family, there are also different sizes. So we have the bass metallophone. We have the alto metallophone. And we have the soprano metallophone. And then over here we have alto xylophones and 2 sopranos. Okay. Now, I did ask which is Baylor doesn't have one, I guess, because that would be right here. It's the same size as this one. It's the same box. The only difference is the bars. The bars are blue, or they're Palisano. They're that fiberglass. Okay. Then in the glockenspiel family, there are only two. There's the alto glockenspiel and the soprano glockenspiel. Okay, are you ready? I'm going to point to an instrument. Somebody raise your hand to tell me what it is. Here we go. Okay. Woo!
That's it.
You don't have to say it, Patty.
Alto metallophone.
Alto and telephone.
Soprano.
Good.
I thought it was
Or that one. It's an alto glockenspiel. Yep, good. This one. Bass and telephone. And then soprano glockenspiel and congratulations, you just passed one of the tests I give my college students. And then I'll also hold up unpitched percussion instruments, and they have to write that in. They have to spell it correctly too. So, and if we had one, there would be a bass xylophone right here. And I honestly, the metallophones are usually the least used instruments. So you want to fill in with xylophones before you get to metallophones, if at all possible. And before you get a bass metallophone, get a bass xylophone. Because it has a little bit of resonance, but it also doesn't have too much resonance. And sometimes these ring a little bit too much. All right, so there we are. Okay, now I need a pair of mallets, and I think there's an extra pair on the table. The yellow ones would be great. Everybody will be able to see. All right, so we did some of this in one class, but we're going to move ahead a little bit faster. So everybody pick up your mallets and just hold it like this, like a little baby holds a spoon. Like this. Good. And look how my thumb is actually, I just have it in my fist like this. So my thumb isn't doing anything like this, it's just down here. Okay? Now, I want you to back up a little bit so that you're holding the mallets between your first finger and your thumb like this. And so it looks like that. What can you compare that to? Handwriting. Okay, good. Yeah, it's like you're holding it here. And you want to turn your hand over so that you have knuckles up to the ceiling. Knuckles up to the ceiling. Because they want to turn their hands this way. Well, you just don't have as much control if it's on the side hand as you do if it's this way. You have better control. And then you'll wrap these other fingers around it gently, not tight. You want it to be kind of loose so that they can still do it a little bit. Thank you for closing so they can still wiggle a little bit as you play. Looking good. Looking good. Now I do have my thumb like here. It's not down here. It's actually here. So we can help control this. Because the main fingers that are doing the work, and now I'm talking to you more than I would talk to the children. The main fingers that are doing the work are these. Now, these two. Now yesterday, somebody asked about how do you get the children to bounce. And I'm going to show you a few things and then we'll talk about it. The first thing I want you to do is just copy what I'm doing. And we're all going that way. It's mirroring. With first graders and second graders, if you go this way, they're not going that way. They're not thinking, oh, that's her right, so I'll go to my right. They're not thinking that at all. They're going, okay, she's that way, I'll go that way. Good. And you can play too. Yeah, you can play too. guys I did woof, 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 and yip, yip, yip. And we talked about how we have a high voice and a low voice. And now I want you to listen for where are the low sounds on your instrument and where are the high sounds. Where's the low voice and the high voice on your instrument? Here we go, play here first. And then play here. What do you think? Where are the low sounds? Show me. Show me. Good. The big ones, the long ones are the low sounds. And the little ones are the high sounds. Good. So if we want to play going up, we have to start at the low part to go all the way up to the top. Let's see if we can do that. Here we go. And then let's come back down and start at the high part. Here we go. Let's go like this. And back down. Once upon a time, there were two people whose names were Mr. Brown and Ms. Black. Now, Mr. Brown is going to be portrayed in this story by, we have choices. The children, the first graders that I used to do this with, were very literal. And so, because their xylophones were brown, they had to be Mr. Brown. Right? And ours are yellow, so it's not a problem. And I would say, well, we could let the low instruments be Mr. Brown and the higher instruments be Miss Black, but they didn't get that. That wasn't interesting. Those were brown, and that was all that they would have. So, how do you want to do this? Who do you want to be Mr. Brown? Which instruments? Let's kind of do half and half. The low. Should we do the low instruments? Okay, so we'll do the bass and the altos. You guys can be the low instruments. 1, 2, 3, 4. That'll be fine. And then everybody else can be Miss Black. All right. So once upon a time, there were two people whose names were Mr. Brown and Miss Black. Mr. Brown lived at the low part, the bottom of a very high hill. And Miss Black lived at the low part of another very high hill. One day, Mr. Brown went to go see Miss Black. He opened his door. He stepped outside. He closed his door. And then he started on the journey to Miss Black's house. He went, he started at the bottom of the hill. He went, and down, until he arrived at Miss Black's house. He knocked at her door 3 times. We're going to do this together. He went, oh, that was so good. And you know what? First graders can do that. We can all stay together, and that's a really good practice kind of thing to do. But there was no answer. So we thought maybe she was watching TV or something, so we knocked again. 3 times. There was still no answer. Well, there was nothing else for him to do, so he went back. He was at the bottom of the hill again, remember, at her house? So he went back. Until he arrived back home. He opened his door. He stepped inside. He closed his door. The next day, Miss Black went to visit Mr. Brown. She opened her door. She stepped outside. She closed her door. Then she started on the journey to Mr. Brown's house. Remember, she lived at the bottom of the hill, so she started at the bottom of the hill at her house, and she went until she arrived at Mr. Brown's house. She knocked at his door 3 times. So she thought, well, maybe he's doing something, maybe he's playing a video game. So I knocked again. So she knocked at his door 3 times. So there was nothing else to do. But she went back. Remember, she was at the bottom of the hill at Mr. Brown's house. So she went back. Until she arrived back in her house. I love this teamwork. This is great. She opened her They stepped outside. They closed their doors. And then they started on their journeys. They were at the bottom of their hills, and they went. They met along the way. Mr. Brown said, "Hello, Miss Black." And Miss Black said, "Hello, Mr. Brown." And then they had a conversation that went something like this. Mr. Brown said, "I came to see you the other day." And Miss Black said, "Oh, I came to see you the other day." And then what else did they say? What did Mr. Brown say? He said,
You weren't home.
"You weren't home." And then Miss Black said,
You weren't
"You
home.
weren't here." And then Mr. Brown said,
What were you doing?
"What were you doing?" "Where were you when I came to see you?" And Miss Black said,
I was visiting you.
and Mr. Brown said, "We must have passed each other on the hill." And then they had a conversation that went something like this. First, Miss Black said, and then Mr. Brown said, and then Mr. Brown said, and then Miss Black said, and then they got really excited and they started talking at the same time. And Miss Black said, "Well, goodbye." And Mr. Brown said, "Goodbye." And by the way, when I've asked the children about this, they almost always make plans for a date. One time it was for tea. I love that. It was, "Would you like to go out and have tea?" Those were kids at Shan's Elementary who were in high school now. So that was pretty cute. And so remember, they were now at the top of the hill. They're at the high part of the hill. Can you show me where that is? So they went down. They arrived at their houses. They opened their doors. They stepped outside, inside, and they closed their doors. The end. Okay. Now, I was thinking about this last night. I was thinking, oh, why didn't I think to use a Bible story? I mean, we could do something with traveling. I don't know what it might be. It might be, I don't know, it might be the prophet. It might be Elijah. It might be, what did you say?
Jesus went to see Zacchaeus.
Yeah, it might be. Jesus climbed up the tree after Zacchaeus. Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, I mean, there could be some kind of Bible story. I thought about the Good Samaritan. You know, you could have different instruments be different characters in the story. So it's just a good way for the children to explore the instruments. I want to tell you a personal story. When I first took Orff Level 1 back in the 80s, it's been a long time ago, I completely misunderstood almost everything. So I'm a slow learner. So I misunderstood a lot. I went back to school, and for the first day of school, when we were going to play the instruments, I personally took all bars off the instruments except the G and the E. And we were going to play So and Me songs. I don't know how long I was expecting us to play so many songs, which is those two notes, that I took everything off, and they were going to play Tinker Tailor, I guess is what we were going to do. And, you know, so we did, and they were okay with it. They were excited because they hadn't really played Orff instruments that much. But then there came a day when I didn't have time to take all the bars off the instruments. Something happened before school, and I didn't have time. So I told them, "You're only going to play the G and the E. That's it. And here we go. Ready? Find the G. Find the E." Now, that's why I said the kids. Yeah. And so they're going, T. And I'm like, "Don't play the other bars. Don't play the other bars." And then I realized, they want to play the other bars. And you're going to learn from playing. What did you learn as you were playing? I mean, one really obvious thing. You learned high and low, and you also learned going up and going down. What else did you learn while we were doing
Short sounds.
short sounds?
The feel of the mallets in your
The
hands.
feel of the mallets in your hands.
Sounds of different.
That the instruments all sound different. You know that high is relative. Play your high sounds, Kristen. High. There you go. Okay, play your high sounds. notice those kinds of things? Did you notice a lot of what we did was fast? When children play fast, they're more likely to learn how to bounce off. If you have them start out with, they're going to do this.
Yes.
And it's partly because they have to aim for the C and the G, and they're really thinking about it, and they don't want to miss it. But if they're just doing this, there's no worries, nothing's wrong. They can just do this. And faster helps them bounce more easily than the slow. So just let them mess around a little bit with it. It's fun. And you have to have parameters. You know, that's why I do this when we're playing. And when I've done Mr. Brown and Miss Black, it's amazing. They don't usually play when it's not their turn. They're really good at it. What else did you learn?
To share.
To share, yeah. And you found a creative way to take turns. That was really, really good.
Can you show us?
Yeah, I see that. Francine was like, and then Teresa would like, down. They figured out a lot of things. You were kind of doing some things that were slower and some things that were faster. You were doing maybe some things that were louder and some things that were softer. So you're kind of starting to learn all those opposite words that we've already learned with the singing voice by listening to music. And now you're getting to play those.
We were also, when you would say one word, we'd hit once. And when we began to catch on to that, it was almost intuitive.
Yeah. And on the three, we all played together. So that's good. You know, you're starting to think, okay, if we watch, we'll be able to stay together.
But shutting the door became one.
Yeah, we kind of did. Yeah. Good. So it's really important for the children to practice everything. They want to play all the bars, and that's how they're going to discover what's going on. So that's exploration. And by the way, just in case you're wondering, that is not improvisation. It's improvisatory, that since they don't know yet what the sounds are going to be that come out of the instruments, it's really just exploring. It's just messing around. They don't know what it's, they're just trying out different things. So it's good. All right. Got to that. So now, this is one more thing I'm going to talk with you about before we actually do a little bit more playing. And that is the accompaniment patterns for these instruments. And it's at this point that we take off some of the bars. So after they've done a lot of the exploring, we actually start to get specific about what bars they're going to play. So we're going to set up so that we only have the bars there that we're going to be using. So everybody finds C1, and I'm going to go back to this too, so I'll show you in more detail. Okay, go to the very longest bar on your instrument. The longest bar, just point to it. Good. And what letter does it say? C. Good. And next to that is D, and then E, and then F, G, and G. Good. Now we talked about this yesterday, but the children will notice, oh, it's going in order of the alphabet. We just didn't have A and B down there. We started on C, D, E, F, G. And the music alphabet just goes A, B, C, D, E, F, G. And then it starts over again. So that's kind of part of the music alphabet. So after the G is a what? A. We start over. That's where we start on A. Now the next note is a little confusing for some people, because the next note says what? H-E. Does it say that also on the? Doesn't say it. Just Studio 49. It's B. Okay. So Studio 49 just has the B on it. Well, and I think they do that because they make some for Americans and they make some for Germans. So the second letter, y'all probably may remember this, in Germany, the second letter of the music alphabet is the H. That means B natural for them. And B actually means B flat for them. And I want to show you something here. Here's the B flat bar. And you see what it says? It says B equals B flat. Because for us, that's B flat. And in Germany, that, just the B by itself means B flat. Okay? There was a famous chorale that was based on Bach's name, you know, and it uses B flat for the H. I mean, B natural for the H and B flat for the. All right. So, anyway, I just told the children If we lived in Germany, we would be paying attention to that H, but we don't. We live in the United States, so that B is the one we're looking at. So everybody say, that bar is B.
That bar is B.
Okay, we don't have an H in music in the United States. All right, so there's a B. And then next comes C. Did we already have a C?
Yeah.
So that, we're going to always call that second C, C2. So when I sing, do, do, you go to high C, do for your second C. If I sing do, that's C1, but the high one is C2. Okay. All right, so we have that, and then we have a D2 and E2, F2, G2, and then it starts over on another what? A. And y'all stop on A, right? The alto xylophones, the sonar alto xylophones, have two more notes. They have another B, and then they have a C3. They do. They have a third C, so it's more of an extended octave. That's one of the reasons I think alto xylophones are something you want to get first. If you can only get one or two instruments, do alto xylophones and a few glockenspiels, because you can have two children play on that instrument pretty easily, and it's just nice because you can have one child play the drum, which we're going to talk about in a second, and another child can play the melody. So one can you do this? Oh, another one's playing. Okay, so you can have this child just doing that and somebody else playing up there. So it's nice to do that. Okay, so now I play a game where I say, because they need to know this, I play a game where I say, point to E1. E1. Just point to with your finger. There you go. Good. E1. Point to G2. That's true. Good. The second G, the higher G. Good. Point to A1. E1.
Wait, A1 would be before.
No, no, for us,
Okay.
these, yeah, so that's A1.
Okay, here's your range. Okay.
Here's our ones and twos. All right, yeah, we don't write for anything below C, middle C, because we don't have it on the Orff instruments. And you know something, we also don't have it on the recorder. C is the lowest note on the recorder. That's the lowest thing we write. Okay, point to F1. D2. Good, all right, so you got it? I know, we're missing the D2, it's so sad. Actually, I took it, these two are Baylor instruments, and this one was missing, and I thought, no, we can't do without that. So I took it from here and put it over here, because I figured we could sacrifice that.
That's right.
Sacrifice that. All right, so would you find C1, and then D1, and then E1, and the next note is what, everybody? F. And we're not going to use that. And here's how I really do this with the kids. We're not going to use that today, so we're going to say, yeah, but not yet. Not yet. Here's what we're going to do. You're going to put one hand at the top of the bar. But not yet. And one hand at the bottom of the bar. And you're going to look straight up. Watch how I'm going to do that. I'm putting one hand at the top of the bar, one hand at the bottom, and I'm going straight up. Now, if I go this way, it could break this little peg. And it can be fixed, and it wouldn't be the end of the world, but it's not easy to fix. So we want to take good care of these instruments, boys and girls. So we're going to lift straight up. All right, who wants to demonstrate? Okay, Addie's going to demonstrate. Ladies and gentlemen, she's putting one hand at the top of the bar, one hand at the bottom of the bar, and she's lifting straight up, and she has. All right, everybody find F1, and one hand at the bottom. And you know what? The partners can find F2. One hand at the top, one hand at the bottom, and straight up. How'd you do? Looks like you got it. Yay! Good. So we got the F bars off, and you can just put them on the floor. Yesterday, somebody was talking about how the bars inside kind of made the box rattle, and I agree. Sometimes it does, not always. But I just have them put them out in front or beside or wherever. And then, you know, sometimes the kids will play with them, in which case I'll just keep teaching and walk over and take the bar and put it over here someplace. So they won't do that. Okay? And then we're also going to take off, well, you've got the G next, and you've got the A, and And then the next bar is what again? What are we calling it? B. Okay. We're going to, with two hands lifting straight up, we're going to take off the B bars. Good job. So you're going to two bars off. The F's and the B's. And I think you have one more F. Oh, there you go. Patty. Good. So it should go 3, 2, 3, 2. And y'all go 3, 2, 3, 2, 1. Except that sound. It's like it's missing a tooth.
Yeah.
All right. Now point to C1 with your left hand and G1 with your right hand. Good. And now, partners, y'all can go ahead and go to the twos, the C2s and the G2. And pick up your mallets. And we have, you can play if you want to.
I'm fine.
Are you sure? Oh, yeah. It's like I've been through this stuff. Okay, so remember you're going to hold it so that it's between these two fingers, and then you're wrapping this around a little bit for support. And it still can wiggle, but you're going to play the C and the G, about like this, at the same time. Which the Kodai people will tell you is not really a So Me song, it's a So Me La song. But we'll take So Me La. Do y'all know any? We could do Starlight, Starlight. How about it?
Doggy, doggy.
Which?
Doggy, doggy, doggy.
Oh, Doggy, Doggy. Well, let's do Starlight, Starlight first, and we'll do Doggy, Doggy. Here we go. Starlight, Starlight, first star I see tonight. Wish I did, wish I went. And the wish I wish tonight. Good job of stopping. That doesn't happen. Good job of stopping at the end of the song. The thing is, if the children sing while they play, they probably will know when to stop because they'll know the song's over. Let's do Doggy, Doggy, where's your bone? If you know it. Here we go. Doggy, doggy, where's your bone? Someone's totally from my home. Who's so alone? I'm so alone. Good. All right, so we've got it. I have another one for you that we're going to sing. And it goes like this. I'm going to just say the words first so you can put your mouths down for a second. Hope y'all aren't getting tired of standing. We really are going to sit down in a minute. Okay. These words come from the Bible. And I've got to find it here. This is good. And this is from the book of Psalms. Psalms. Did you know that the Psalms were probably originally sung? But they were songs. The Psalms were songs. And do you know who's given credit for writing the Psalms? David is given credit. And David was a musician, supposedly. I mean, we know about Goliath and all that too. But he supposedly also played the harp. So that's kind of neat that he was a musician. And so he probably would have sung this. And we don't know what the tune would have been. But here are the words. Make a joyful noise to the Lord, all the earth. Worship the Lord with gladness. Come into his presence with singing. Now it goes on, but that's the part we're going to focus on. Make a joyful noise to the Lord, all the earth. Did you say that?
Make a joyful noise to the Lord, all the earth.
Now what's a joyful noise? Sometimes it's the name of your choir, isn't it? I mean, I've seen a lot of children's choirs called joyful noise. Sometimes a joyful noise is what? A happy sound. So it might be singing.
Could be laughing.
Could be laughing. I love that.
Talking.
Could be talking. Absolutely. I like that. Okay. Could be instruments. It could be all these different things. All right, so we're going to make a joyful noise with our voices and also with the instruments in just a second. And it just goes like this. Make a joyful noise to the Lord, all the earth. Serve the Lord with gladness. Come into his presence it's Orff. Ready? So serve the Lord with gladness.
Serve the Lord with gladness, come into his presence with singing.
All right, good. So the whole thing is, make a joyful noise to the Lord, all the earth. Serve the Lord with gladness, come into his presence with singing. All right, that's part of the joyful noise, is the singing. Let's try the whole song. Here we go.
Make a joyful noise to the Lord, all the earth. Serve the Lord with gladness, come into his presence with singing.
Good. Can you keep the beat while you sing that?
Here we go. Make a joyful noise to the Lord, all the earth. Serve the Lord with gladness, come into his presence with singing.
If you can keep the beat here, I'll bet you can also keep the beat here on the C and the G. Can you find that? Good. Ready. A little bit softer so we can hear our voices. Very nice. Here we go.
Make a joyful noise to the Lord, all the earth. Serve the Lord with gladness, come into his presence with singing.
And most of you knew exactly when to stop. Let's do it one more time and see if you know right when to stop on singing. Try that once. Ready? Go.
Singing.
Beautiful. Let's do it one more time. Here we go.
Make a joyful noise to the Lord, all the earth. Serve the Lord with gladness, come into his presence with singing.
Very good. Because you know what? There's going to be a second part. And it's going to say this. I don't think I got to this part in the reading. So I'll say this. I think it's a little bit later. Yeah. Those were verses 1 and 2. Verse 3 says, know that the Lord is God. It is he that made us, and we are his. We are his people and the sheep of his pasture. Then this part says, enter his gates with thanksgiving and his courts with praise. Give thanks to him. Bless his name. Enter his gates with thanksgiving. What do you think the gates are? I mean, there are a lot of different ways you could think of that. Enter his gates with thanksgiving.
In his presence.
Yeah, his presence. So it could be really any place, couldn't it? Could be. It could be walking into any room. It could be walking into the sanctuary, the auditorium. It could be walking in a church.
You could be walking outside.
It could be walking outside. Okay. So we're going to say it like this. Enter his gates with thanksgiving. Enter his courts with praise. Say that.
Enter his gates with thanksgiving. Enter his courts with praise.
One more time.
Enter his gates with thanksgiving. Enter his courts with praise.
And I like this. You can click the mallets and say, here we go.
Enter his gates with thanksgiving. Enter his courts with praise. Enter his gates with thanksgiving. Enter his courts with praise.
Good. All right, so that's our B section. It's going to be a little bit different. You guys who are playing Orff instruments can click the mallet. But I need some people who have 2 at the instrument to volunteer to come out here and learn a different part. And in fact, let's all put the mallets down for just a minute. We can all do this. Can you do step, step, right on the beat. Enter his gates with thanksgiving. Enter his courts with praise.
Enter his gates with thanksgiving. Enter his courts with praise.
Now we're going to change that just a little bit because you're going to do 2 steps. So we'll go like this. Again. Now there's that empty beat right there. So this time we're going to do enter his gates with thanksgiving. Enter his courts with praise. Or you could even do enter his gates with thanksgiving. Enter his courts with praise. Think about the kids and what they're able to do. Most little children snapping is tricky. 2 steps in a row on the beat isn't terribly hard. But y'all do know that walking the beat is much harder than padding the beat, right? Because they're just not that coordinated yet. Okay, so, but we can do enter his gates with thanksgiving. We could do that, or we could do this. Enter his gates with thanksgiving. Enter his gates with praise. I think that seems a little more natural. That's what I wrote in your notes, so I think we can do that. Let's say that twice here. Where you go?
Enter his gates with thanksgiving. Enter his courts with praise. Enter his gates with thanksgiving. Enter his courts with praise.
Very nice. Can we get some people to come out here and be our B section? Thank you, yay, Deanna. Okay, so Amy, you're on your own with the bass now. So if you are, and while you're coming up, Teresa, would you get a couple of drums and see these triangles right here? Now we don't have mallets. We don't have strikers for the triangle, but we've got the triangles. So we're going to use these in a minute for you guys. Can you get that other triangle out here? And I'll just take like that little mallet, and that can be one. Is there another little mallet like this that's not being used?
Is that all?
Are you using that one? Okay. No, either one is fine. That's great. All right, so we'll use these in a minute. Oh, we've got drums. Could y'all each get a mallet too, like those red ones that are extra right here? There's some here. And there's some right there. And what other instruments do we have over here? We don't have woodblocks or anything, do we? We have drums. Let's see. Oh, a tambourine. Good. Let's use the tambourine. Sure. All right. Who wants triangle? We need to play it in a minute. Okay. And we'll just use like that the stick. We'll use just like that. It's not real heavy, but it'll work. Okay. Good. You got a tambourine. Do we have two tambourines? Perfect. Yay. Good. So James, you get a tambourine too. We need something for Deanna. Oh, another tambourine. Okay, good. Let's have, you know what, tambourines all stand right here, and triangles over here together. Good. And you guys are going to play your drums on the two steps. So it'll go like this. Ready? Just the drums. Here we go. Enter his gates with thanksgiving. Enter his courts with praise. Go a little bit louder. Enter his gates with thanksgiving. It's joyful noise. Enter his praise with praise. Good. Y'all are going to play tambourine on the taps. Okay, so it'll go drum, drum, tap. Drum, drum, tap. Let's go. Enter God's gates with thanksgiving. Enter his courts with praise. Enter his gates with thanksgiving. Enter his courts with praise. Oh, you know what's coming, don't you, Deanna? One quick thing about the tambourine, just hold it flat like this. Oh, I don't think we want to hear that. Hold it flat like this, and just play that. Okay, flat. This way, let me borrow this 1 second, James, because this way is a little more accurate for parts like this than. So if you want to play stop, just pat it like this. And now when you go to the symphony, you'll see percussionists holding it flat like that. Rock band. Okay? And we can do that for some things. But for this, we're going to do that. Oh, definitely we can do that for some things. All right, let's hear it together. This time, y'all are going to play on the clap. Here we go. Enter God's gates with thanksgiving. Enter God's courts with praise. Enter God's gates with thanksgiving. Enter God's courts with praise. Yeah, good. I wish we had something a little heavier for those triangles because they're a little soft. We do it real gently.
A small one or a large one?
Let's use the B. We'll use this. You know, let's see. This is not going to hurt this. If, you know, we're not going to bend it or anything. That was a great idea. Okay. And for the triangle, I actually had the triangle lesson with Doug Howard, who's the principal percussionist of Dallas Symphony. And Doug said, oh, Julie, he's from Tennessee, and he talks just like this. He's the most down-to-earth person in the world, and he plays all over the world, but he's real down-to-earth. He said, oh, what you want to do is just hold it up, and you want to play on the closed side, because that's the sweet spot. That's the clearest. I mean, listen to the difference. You hear that? It's diffused. It's a lot of different sound. So he said, you just want to play right here. That's where you get the clinking sound.
But you know, the instructions say play on the inside.
Well, and that's one way to do it too, but he says play on the outside. Now, if you want to do something like, if you want to do that, then you can. But even here, listen, there's that, and here's this. Can you hear the difference? It's really subtle. I mean, it doesn't make that much difference, really. But I like for him to play on the close side. I think it is too. And I always have him pinch the string because it spins around. Studio 49 actually makes a triangle with a triangle-shaped holder that holds it in place, so it's not going to spin around. And that's kind of nice. Okay, let's hear you guys one more time. Here we go. Enter God's words with this. Enter God's words with praise. Don't need to play your Enter God's words with praise. Good. All right, so we're going to do make a joyful noise, and then we'll have the B section, and then we'll have make a joyful noise again. So we'll have A, B, A. Little introduction. C and G, and you can play these now. C and G. Here. Lovely. Make a joyful noise to the Lord, all the earth. Serve the Lord with gladness. Come into His presence with singing. Enter God's gates with thanksgiving. Okay, so now hang on. Remember, y'all end right on singing, and then it's their turn, right? So when we're singing, you guys are playing, and when we're speaking, they're playing. Okay? All right. So here we go. Let's start one more time. Here we go. Here we go. Make a joyful noise to the Lord, all the earth. Serve the Lord with gladness. Come into His presence with singing. Sing. Enter His courts with praise. Enter His courts with thanksgiving. Enter His courts with praise. Make a joyful noise to the Lord, all the earth. Serve the Lord with gladness. Come into His presence with singing. All right. So I want to say one more thing before we leave. We've got our ABA form. I mean, we're thinking church music education. So we're confirming what they already have learned, hopefully at school. So it's ABA form, and we've got the playing of the pitched instruments with the singing, and the playing of the unpitched percussion instruments with the speaking. And those are two things, right? In orchestral work: singing, speaking, moving, playing instruments. So now we've got three of those four things. We're not moving yet, but we could. Y'all could be moving while you're. You know what would be good? What would be really fun would be if they had movements while they're singing, and they could just move with their instruments while they're singing, and then they could stop and play while they play. So we can have all four of the orchestral work media right then and there. This part that you guys are playing, the C and the G, is the drum. And I have several, it says drum types, from simplest to more difficult in your notes. The simplest, well, a drum, this is a simple drum, and that is using the tonic and the dominant in whatever your tonal center is. So in this case, we're singing in C, so we're using C and G, the tonic, the 1 and 5, in other words, in the key. And we always put the tonic on the bottom because it supports the voices more. I mean, listen, if we play G1 and C2, listen how this sounds. It's just not very strong, but if you go back to it, that just gives it that foundation, right? So we're building a house on sandy ground if we're up there, and we're building it on solid foundation if we're not. All right, so that's the drum. You can just keep the steady beat with the drum, and it's lovely. And if that's all you ever do, that's okay. But sometimes you'll also have a pattern, so it might look like this. Make a joyful noise to the Lord, all the earth. So you can have a pattern like that. And I put some in here that are a little bit more complicated. So that's sort of a quick version of the introduction to Orff instruments. What's name of it? What's this? Bass. Good. What's on the end over there?
Soprano.
Good. What's right there?
Which alpha
On that end are the soprano octaves, and these are the alto octaves, and what's this right here? That is soprano xylophone, and we left out that one. Good. Yay. All right, and I think I also put the ranges in here. Let's see. I might add. But we write them all in C. Yep, the ranges are in here as well, so you'll know what their real ranges are, and we write them all. I'm sorry, not in C. We write them all with the first C as middle C. So the children don't have to learn all those different octaves. Okay? Any questions?
Well, I noticed you don't usually call it middle C.
Well, we could.
That's what I know. That's the only
Well,
key I can do.
middle C is better to see on the piano.
So really, this is relevant to this. But
Well, I mean, when they play the first C on that instrument, it's this note. Those are all C's, and we call it C1 because they're not all middle C.
That's right.
So we say it's C1 on these instruments and C2 on these instruments. But that note is middle C, is sound as middle C. I use numbers here, and what I learned most recently was the Eastman system, which is C. Middle C is called C4 in the Eastman system. I mean, it varies. We should have all together.
Yeah, just say.